Hi there, my name is Stephen Schultz. This is my final project for Assignment 6. This is Learning in a Post-Pandemic Classroom, Reflections from an ESL Teacher. So first, let's keep it together, the continuity of learning from an in-person to virtual classroom. So 3 steps for maximizing learning while transitioning from a virtual or from a regular classroom to a virtual classroom. Well, the first step is making sure that students, families, teachers, and other stakeholders are aware of what is going to take place in the event of another all virtual learning changeover before it actually takes place. Now, during the pandemic of 2020, a great deal of confusion and uncertainty existed because concrete plans simply didn't exist. While few people could have actually anticipated what was going to transpire in early 2020, forming a contingency plan and actively reviewing it with shareholders could have prevented some of the subsequent learning loss that took place. Reviewing these procedures regularly with students, parents, and other stakeholders will provide a more seamless transition with fewer hang-ups and doubts about what's going to take place and what's expected from everyone. Now, number 2, the second step, is to have an inventory of technological and virtual resources that are applicable to our content, grade levels, and students. A variety of resources that utilize our students' varied learning styles and academic and social needs will optimize live and virtual communication. These resources can provide supplementary practice on online apps, or they can be primary resources for learning materials and associated references online. I like several of the recommendations in the Coloring Colorado website for supporting English learners and their families. Finally, a third step is practicing the use of technology and scenarios in the classroom in advance. Training students on the use and expectations we have in the virtual learning environment is important, but it is equally important to practice these technologies regularly if we are planning on using them in an authentic, all virtual classroom. This frequent reinforcement helps soften the idea of transitioning from in person to the virtual world. We do this in conjunction with providing our students with go-to resources so they won't become overwhelmed with both new and previous content, as well as providing the social means of support for when the next shutdown takes place. And big successes and the big challenge. Um, my greatest successes were, and they still are, in the little victories. As teachers, we sometimes want to think about a victory as a scenario where everything goes as planned and every student meets the same goals or reaches the desired scores on standardized tests. However, if we are able to reach one student in a more meaningful way than we had previously, then those victories may be just as or more important in the long run. There will be some students and families whose struggles are beyond your reach or control, or your most sincere wishes to help are turned away. However, there are those whom you can have a lasting and meaningful impact, especially during the most unexpected times. Emotional support, as we've discussed several times throughout this course, is important for our students, and giving them real resources to process their feelings can provide the student with positive affect, which many linguists argue promotes language acquisition more efficiently. So, what's stayed the same and what's changed? Well, Our students' emotional needs are still important. We still have content goals to meet. But what's changed is the realization that technology for remote learning is here to stay. In our society, our classrooms and our delivery has to adapt to meet the learning goals and needs of our diverse students. How this pandemic has changed my view. For me, the pandemic really brought home the idea that some of our young people struggle more than they really let on to their teachers directly. This is especially true with emotions and socially related matters. As a teacher, sometimes we have to look beyond the concrete learning goals and consider the whole student. It has also demonstrated how children from working class backgrounds struggle in the virtual learning world more often, as the article written by Gaudow, Sanray, and Senchek and all posted in the resources for Article 6 point out. So, thank you very much for watching my presentation. It's been a pleasure meeting all of you online, and I wish you all success in the school year. Have a wonderful Christmas, and I hope to see you again soon. Goodbye.